Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura and I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Now, if you're new to the channel, anything that you need to know about the channel, you can find in the description box. Also, remember that energy is fluid, so interpret the message as it best resonates for you. And if you're interested in winning a free psychic reading with me, all you need to do to enter into winning is do three things: like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word love in your comment bar. You'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath your comment. If I did, just reach out to me at pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com. Let me know the times and days that you'll be available, and I'll let you know what works, and we'll eventually figure it out. But I promise you that I will get it done and that you will have your reading. Now, also, if you like this video and you don't want to win a reading, give me a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it, and it's really good karma. All important links, like I said, are going to be in the description box below. All right, let's just get popping. Let's get grooving. I'm going to use my Psychic Soul Healing Oracle deck first. Again, if you're interested in purchasing this deck, you can again find the link in the description box. And if you are interested in learning how to use this deck, you can again find my YouTube channel that offers that. It's called the Psychic Soul Healer channel. Find me doing readings on that channel as well. The genius. So the genius is a God part itself. It's a creative genius. It's intuitive. It's sensitive. It's a knowing. It's a deep knowing. So I'm feeling for some of you Virgos, you're again living a very creative life right now. You're walking on your soul's path. You're embodying what you love. You're doing what you love. So you're interacting to many different people. You're finding yourself, because the path is all about finding yourself. As you are walking on your path, you're being brought to different people and situations and experiences that are teaching you and growing you. And this is not a logical process. This is an intuitive process. So I'm feeling very busy in your own creative process. However, I also feel like there's an ESP connection. Again, the genius, again, is that spirit part of self, the God part of self. And when we have a soulmate twin flame relationship, when we have a past life connection, when we have just any part of our soul family, we recognize them through this energy, through the genius part of self. It's again that intuition. It's like, I don't know how I know you, but you feel so familiar to me. So this is the overall energy. I'm going to pull, but I also want to take that card that's flung out, self-observation. So I do feel like you are in a place where some people might feel like you're being greedy, but you're not. Because I feel like you really love what you do in work and that you put a lot of energy towards it, and people perceive that it comes easy for you. They don't realize the time and the effort and the energy that you put into it. So you're triggering people is what I'm feeling within work. And I also feel like the person that you're connected to, your soulmate, is not really giving you anything. They're not giving you enough time or energy. So you're both in a place of self-observation, but self-observation through looking at your life, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. I kind of feel like it's not a very, if I had to pull a tarot card, I would be pulling the Hermit card for both of you, because you're both in a place of by yourself, reflection, reflection on each other. However, I feel like you, Virgo, are in a much better place because you're creating yourself. You again are living more from that spirit part of self when we are on our soul's path and we are creating ourselves. We're just doing what we love and we're kind of in our own little world, which is very helpful too, because I feel like you have disconnected your energy from this person, which has made them look at themselves and they are actually seeing that they really don't give anything and they really didn't give anything to this relationship, and that the moment that you took your energy away is the moment that they realized that this relationship probably wouldn't have. I think you both realized actually the moment that you took your energy away that this relationship would have never even progressed as far as it did. But because you gave them the time every time they came around. And what they're seeing is that they didn't give anything, and that's why you're no longer around them. And that you're actually okay and they're not, but you're okay because you're creating, you're in this energy, and they're not, they're in this energy. See, there's a much higher vibration in the genius and the creative genius part of self, the intuitive part of self. It's the playful part of self, like in the Bible where when it says be like childlike, it's because you're discovering yourself. Children don't do what logically makes sense, like they're going to take a cardboard box and sit in it and pretend that it's a house. It's not a house. We know as adults that that's a cardboard box. However, children are in their imagination. It's again, when you are accessing the genius part of stuff and you're creating, you have a vision for yourself, and that vision is, again, part of your imagination. So remember, if you can imagine it, you can create it. So you've transcended this energy, and that's why the person that you're connected to is not, again, feels bad, again, feels now is looking at themselves, thank God, because again, that's not good energy, but is all to evolve into this higher states of consciousness, which is a Christ consciousness, which this is how I know that it's a soulmate twin flame relationship, because of the genius in Christ consciousness. So it doesn't mean that this person didn't care. I feel like they just are used to not giving as much effort, having people give to them, and they never gave you enough energy to really establish a relationship. But remember, if a person's talking to a lot of different people and they're only giving you a little bit, they can't really tell who they like, right? And depending where they are within their process, where they are, what they're looking for. So I feel like they've come to a place where they see the difference between you and the other people that they were talking to. Yes, I want to see hidden truth first. Actually, let's look at some hidden truths, like what they feel about you, what they feel about the situation. Again, because now that you left, what are the hidden truths? It's time for me to heal now. So it's again the self-observation of realizing that they don't have intimate connections. That why didn't they give you anything if they have feelings? You and I were too young. I think that they think that at the time, like when you first met, I don't think necessarily like you were young. What I think it was more they didn't put enough energy. They didn't put enough energy into this connection. So they'll say, oh, well, at the time I wasn't really ready, but they were because we were young, but that's because they were running around breadcrumbing everybody because that's where they wanted to be. Just being near you is intoxicating. I think that this connection with you and your person really is overstimulating for them because they're not used of looking at themselves, number one, and they're not used to caring about anyone else. They're used to being very selfish. So when they're saying, "Oh, we we were too young," really, they were too young. But I don't feel physically young. I feel mentally young. But understand, if it wasn't for the fact that they have such strong, deep emotions for you, and again, they see the spiritual connection. If they didn't have that, they would have never, again, like looked at themselves, and in looking at themselves, they realize they need to heal because they're selfish. And if they ever really want love, they need to raise their vibration to love, not selfish. So as I said, I feel like consciously they were young. And I don't think that you were young. I think that they didn't, that everything was a trigger. When you don't want to do something and you have your mind set on something, that they'll see it every time you opened up your mouth. It was conflict with this person when it didn't need to be. I left when I saw you with someone. I feel like that was more like, again, that was you. I feel like they were always with someone. And I feel like because they always perceived that they were someone, you almost seemed like you weren't as available. So there was a lot of also games, like playing back and forth because no one wanted to get hurt. Like, and it was also your person's way of trying to get you to give them more. They tried to make you jealous. And what happened was it backfired. So it's again, I don't really feel like you pranced around with other people, but just not being around and distance. I feel like your person did prance around with other people, tried again, talk to other people, allowed you to know that there were other people. Again, and that's why they're saying, "Oh, that we were just too young." No, 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 no. You were just very immature because they didn't know what they wanted because they were talking to too many people. And so you actually left, which they didn't expect that to happen. See, they expected you to chase them. They expected you to be a little bit like devastated. And I feel like because they didn't know what, because you didn't get as upset as they felt like you should have, they assumed that maybe that there's someone else in your life. So that's why they retracted, because you're like, well, why didn't they come and talk to me? Well, they didn't come to you because they were trying to emotionally manipulate you to get you to give to them. They're not looking to give anything to you. So they thought that, by talking to other people and just breadcrumbing you, and every time they would come around, you would give them the time and talk to them so they could tell that you really liked them, but they never really even considered the relationship. They never really took it serious because they didn't know what they wanted. They were coming from a very selfish standpoint. Remember, love is healing because it helps us evolve. And it helps us do so because we look at ourselves, we look at our own wounds, but a lot of times we also look at what we've done to somebody else and understand if you have unconditional love for someone, that's what makes you actually sit there and look. Otherwise, our ego tends to get in the way and wants to downplay. And I still feel like your person has a lot of ego because they're not really seeing it. They're not taking full responsibility. Oh, we were young but there still should have been communication then. They undervalued this connection. I know I was a distraction from your pain, and I feel like you feel like because they breadcrumb and they're like kind of emotionally unavailable, that there is pain there, trust issues, major trust issues. And and so because of that, there's a sense of they like they get involved, they talk to this person that feeds their ego, then they move on to the next. So they're never really looking at themselves. It's a good avoidance technique, right? When we, again, lose ourselves in other people, especially people that are feeding us, making us feel good, right? Fanning our ego. They don't need to. So there was a sense that you just felt like, well, I kept time. I was a distraction for you. Well, in a way, you were at that time. I'm afraid to contact you, but now obviously, again, they know the connection, but they didn't know the connection at all because they never gave you the time. So now that you've taken back your energy and you're like, well, you didn't really give me anything, and so I left because you're talking to all these other people. You're not giving me anything, so you're continually telling me I'm not worth it in your life. You're continually telling me, showing me by your actions, but I can feel our connection because you would definitely feel a connection like this, especially if there's all this energy, and especially if at the end result is that you're looking at yourself. Well, then the divine connection did exactly what it was supposed to do, because really you're only having a reflection, a relationship with yourself and your creator and the universe, right? So what you draw to you is what you need. So your person didn't even notice what came to them, and they're looking for love, talking to a lot of different people, letting all these people fan their ego, letting all these people, again, all these people are accepting their little breadcrumbs, so it's inflating their ego even more. So you just kind of fell into that, and then you walked away because you were like, I'm not getting anything. Like I don't, I'm more deserving of with these little breadcrumbs that you give. So now, of course, they are afraid to contact you because they're afraid to contact you because first of all, they find it intoxicating to be near you. They have a lot of emotion. Second of all, there's a sense that they were never really 100% honest. Again, they're playing games in the beginning. Third of all, it's again, they undervalued the connection. So just for all of it, and the way that they treated you like everybody else. So which again, they undervalued the connection. So of course they're afraid to contact you because anybody else would rip their head off. I regret lying to you. Yeah, like again, breadcrumbing, but making it like all words. Like they would come by and they would talk to you and they would pretend that they really cared or that they were going to invest more in the relationship than they did, and then just ghost, not care, and saying that they, like I said, saying that they cared a lot more than they did at the time. And it didn't mean that they didn't know that there was a connection. They did, but I don't think this person ever had a deep connection like this before. I think that they thought they have a connection, but like I could probably replace this person. And because I feel like you had standards. Again, the moment that they weren't giving you anything, you saw that you weren't getting anything, you were like, this is a waste of my time. And you left. So I think that they underestimated who you are, to be honest with you. I think that they didn't expect you to do that. And that's not because of you. It's because a person only knows what they've been around. So they might have a great job. They might be really good looking. They again hold some sort of like authority within your where you live. Who knows? But bottom line is they have a big ego. for those particular reasons. Usually it's because people perceive that they're good looking, people perceive that they have money, people perceive that their life is better than it actually is a lot of times, because people with an ego will project that. So it's, again, they were having fun. They were having fun. They were in a different space. So again, it goes back to when they said that they were young. They were young. They acted young. I don't know whether they were actually young or not. I feel like they were a player. They wanted to stay a player. And then the same divine energy flows in each of us. This energy is the catalyst to our reunion. We just need to allow this energy to work its magic. So again, that there's a realization on both parties that this is a divine connection. However, your person has done a lot of things in the beginning to undervalue the connection and not really do anything. And I know that you know this. It's, again, that if you just allow things to happen instead of try to make them happen, where your person has this divine connection to you, but because they're insecure, because they don't really know who they are, because they were running around looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for someone to feed their ego and be party time, instead of really understanding what a true, real relationship is. So they might have intimacy issues, a lot of fear. So they try to control and manipulate the situation to get the person to give them more, to do more. And really, that's what ruined the relationship. It's, again, that they let their ego run the show by trying to scare you. Look, I replaced you. See, look how many people are interested in me. Look how much time I'm giving all these people. And you're only getting this little bit of time. They kind of put you in a position that you didn't really have a choice. You had to leave. I feel abandoned. I often feel like others let me down. So again, you may feel, Virgo, that you have a wound of abandonment. And because this person did what they did, they abandon you. So because you're like, I have this deep connection with you, you're my soulmate, you're my twin flame, you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to love me unconditionally, you should love me the way that I show you that I love you, but you left. And really, Spirit's saying, why did you allow this person to come in and out of your life? Why? You like, well, I left, but you left after they were already comfortable. They're shocked that you left, but you allowed them this whole time to come in and out of your life. You allowed them to breadcrumb for a while. That's why they kept doing it. They thought eventually they were breaking you down, that they were going to get you to undervalue yourself, give up, what you find is important. Again, which would be like a committed relationship, being with someone that respects you and honors your time, instead of being with someone that is acting like they don't really give a shit about the relationship. When they do, they just want it on their terms, which is extremely unfair. It makes the playing field extremely uneven because they elevate themselves. You show up in my dreams. It helps me process buried memories. So it's, again, your person wanted to control the entire relationship. And then what happened is that you walked away. So then they have this realization that, oh, I really do have strong feelings. I really do love you. I didn't want this relationship to be this way. But the truth of the matter is, it's bringing up a lot of self-observation. Like, again, this is a divine union, one that God has brought together, because Spirit is saying the way that your person has been conducting their life is wrong. They use people. They come on to different people acting as if they want a relationship. They don't want a relationship. They're toying with people's feelings and emotions. They abandon person after person. They use people for their own emotional fulfillment. And so really, that by you walking away and they actually have feelings is triggering their wound of abandonment, which is why they need to breadcrumb. If they feel like, well, if I talk to 1,000 different people and all those people are giving me what I need emotionally, I can never get hurt. I keep it surface. These people give me what I want, whether that's, again, physical connection, whether that's emotional connection. I always get what I need, but the people never get what they need. And that had to stop. That had to stop. So it's again, now that you walked away, they're faced looking at how they treated you, and they treated you like shit. So you are coming out in their dreams because subconsciously they know that they have to talk to you. They know that they have to fix it. It's eating away at them, where again, that's never happened before to this person. Usually they don't care. And now I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own. We are becoming one again. So I feel as if they know the depth of this connection. And they also feel as if they can. They also feel as if you're still there. And they also can no longer really hide the way that they feel. So subconsciously, like I said, they're seeing you in their dreams, they feel regret, they're actually looking at their behaviors, something that they've never done before. And now they're like, even though we're not together, I can still feel that you're right there and I'm right there. And we're together. We're married, even though we're not married. We're together, even though we're not together. It's again because that spiritual connection is so strong. It's a divine union. Repetitive cycles. So you're a little concerned about, like, again, them continuing the cycle. I believe due to the self-observation that they're breaking the repetitive cycles, but they wouldn't have done it unless they met their soulmate twin flame. And you, again, walked away. When you walked away, they were like, they realized they had something to compare. So if you're talking to a bunch of people and they're all like feeding your ego, and the person that they really do care about is you, but you're sitting there the whole time, why did they have to need to change? They don't need to. So the repetitive cycle breaks because you broke it. I feel like I can be my true self around you, right? Because it's, again, you are, again, a divine union. This is a soul family. No one would stick around long enough to deal with somebody's bullshit like this unless it was. It's because, again, there's unconditional love there. So there is this element also of really being able to be yourself, your true self around this person, and vice versa, which that comfortability is what makes you feel like home, and to why you both feel like home to each other. You make me nervous. So it's, again, I feel like sometimes your person, again, does get a little anxiety, but I do feel like you both feel like home to each other because there's this ESP connection and there is this love. But when your person gets shady, and doesn't really want to be in a committed relationship, and then they think about how you're going to respond, they do get nervous because they've never had to commit to anyone. They've always had one foot in, one foot out. This person likes to travel. This person might have had relationships in the past, but always on their terms. So they have such strong feelings for you that it does make them nervous. However, you do feel like home to them. So it's a paradox of different emotions, which is what causes the heart and the head to argue a lot when we're in one of these relationships, because logically, we shouldn't want to be with someone that's a pain in the ass. And logically, if your person likes their freedom, they shouldn't want to be with someone that they know wants a conventional life, like relationships, like a monogamous relationship. So it's again the paradox of the relationship is I don't like any of those things. You don't make me, but I still love you, which again makes us look at ourselves. Because a lot of times what we like is very rigid. So does that mean that you should be like, well, that I shouldn't want monogamy? No, it means that you can have monogamy, but also have a very rich life on your own. Like be very invested in your life, in your career, in your hobbies, be interactive with your friends. You don't give your person the full pizza pie. You only give them a slice of the pie so that they want more. Your person doesn't like relationships because they always feel smothered. They always feel as if they can't be themselves. They feel that they can be themselves with you because you're busy in your life. They've had time to compare. They didn't, again, dating all those other people, talking to all those other people, and with you right there, they couldn't. But once you left, they could definitely tell the difference. And the way that you dealt with the situation when this person continued to talk to people, and you saw that they were still talking to people, and you just left. That also told your person who you were, where the other people might have fought to get the more attention or manipulate to try to get more attention or to guilt on some level. That's not what happened here. You were like, okay, this is what it is. I'm out. They would have never looked. But that's not because of you. That's because of, again, who they've dated and what they've been allowed to get away with from people, which meant that they were really vibing on a low vibration. Because if they were dealing with people that were not putting boundaries up and not teaching them on how they wanted to be treated, it meant that the people that they were with didn't have a good self-esteem about themselves. And I think your person thought that you didn't have good self-esteem about yourself because you were putting up with it for a little while until you didn't. I'm working up the courage to contact you. Yeah, it's again, they're afraid. That said it. They are afraid to contact you because of everything that they did. It's like, first of all, it would have been so much easier if you went back and apologized to them, which is what I feel like they were kind of like hoping, or that you would just start talking to them, which is normally what happens in their past relationships. They pull a stunt like this, the person doesn't like it, then both parties walk away, and then the other person winds up coming back to them. You did not do this. They see you are not going to do this. So now you put them in a place where they are working their way back to you. Now, what do I feel? I feel like they're afraid of, again, fights and arguments and conflict. But what do I feel like you're going to do with it? I'm only going to pull like 2 cards on what you're going to do. And then we're going to pull the healing energy, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. So what are you going to do? How do you feel about this person? I mean, it is a soulmate twin flame relationship, so it is like I do have a connection, but this person did a lot of shit. Did they destroy the relationship because this is what they wanted to play? Queen of Pentacles, stability. You're not gonna stop working and keeping your own stability, like emotional stability as well. You're going to handle this in a very practical way. And I feel like you're going to you have anxiety about it. Nine of Swords, but it's reverse. So you're like, you're going to let this person work, like prove themselves. Like if there's a sense that they would just come in to like, give that they were just going to come in and you were going to give to them, that's not what's going to happen here. Because you're going to handle it in a way where you're like, you're coming back to me. I'm good. My life is good. So what are you bringing me? And they're again are a little bit nervous about this too. They already know it. They know that they can't come in, that if you're making them come in, that you have the upper hand. That's how they see it, and they're nervous about it. Because remember, they're used to being the ones that have the upper hand. They're not used to being in this position. They don't like being in this position. And you are going to make sure that you are in this position. But I see, like, again, like you want this King of Swords upright. It's like, again, you want to make a harmonious decision. You want this person to show you. So what it pretty much comes down to is, again, unconditional love. When we have someone in our life that triggers us, that deliberately does things to get underneath our skin, to manipulate us, and then we still have feelings for them, it's like we're able to understand the reason why I can talk. The reason why we're having that is because there needs to be healing also on your part. So you may need to like deal with learning how to forgive. And because this person is a twin flame, it's like you don't want to forgive because you don't like what they did. You don't like how they treated you. But it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And like part of you wants to be like, take a crap and put it over, crap in your hat and put it over your ears to the person, like, because you're so like angry with how they treated you and how they disregarded you and how they were so selfish and who the person was. But you're also like now kind of question yourself, can I trust this person? Because again, you didn't see that part. You had a little bit of rose-colored glasses, but in the beginning, but then you did walk away from them. So you're like, but in this place of, well, I still have feelings. And they're like, well, I still have feelings. And you're like, well, part of me doesn't want to forgive, and they're like, well, part of me doesn't want to have to come back to you and apologize. Part of me doesn't want to come back and have to explain to you or express how I truly feel. So Spirit's saying, yep, because you both have wounds that need to be healed. Your person doesn't want to express themselves. They have a blocked heart chakra. They want to manipulate. They want to stay in a low vibration. That you can't. It's again, you have to evolve. Part of evolving is opening up your heart. It's again, we can't control love because God is love. So again, you are in that. That's why Spirit brought you to that person, and they have a soul recognition to you. They wouldn't have stuck around long. Trust me, they were mighty fine living the way that they were. They would have never known the difference. And you, Virgo, you're being put in a position to forgive and to learn what unconditional love is. And that's really what I believe. When we still have feelings for someone that betrayed us or making us change, making us feel uncomfortable, making us do different. But once we do different, we get to see a different perception of our situation. Your person gets to see that you still love them, even though they acted like that they don't have to be afraid that you'll abandon them. They don't need to talk to 1,000 different people to feel fulfilled. They were doing that to protect their heart. They don't need to do that. It's again because you forgave. You're allowing them to have their process, even though you don't like their process, because they didn't know who you were. And in order to learn who you were, they had to date a lot of other people. They had to talk to a lot of people. They had to see the difference. They would have never known. And you needed to go through this experience to learn that people, no matter who they are not perfect, even the ones that love you, and that your happiness should not rely on anyone. And you learned that it didn't, because you filled yourself up with the love that this person didn't give when you left, because you again were in your creative genius. You were again in this energy. You were in this energy, the creative genius. So you were getting what you needed. And so what you learned was no one needs to make you happy. If someone's not making you happy, you remove yourself. You're in charge of that. Fill your cup up so that it overflows, so that the people only get what overflows out of your cup. And that's what your person loves about you. That's why they feel the difference. This is why they want to come back, because you showed them exactly who the fuck you are. And you're like, I'm not going to put up with this. And though it scares the hell out of them, because they're like, I've never dealt with it before, they're attracted to it. They like it because they should be on that level themselves, instead of wasting their time with people that they don't really have feelings for. Just people that need to blow smoke up their ass. They should, again, get into this energy of finding themselves, creating themselves, and again, doing. I feel like, again, the fact that you are like that, you're kind of like their muse. They're learning from you. You inspired them to live a different life. And that's what soulmate twin flames do. They make us step into our best version of ourselves. Sometimes because they trigger us and they hurt us, and we can't believe that they hurt us so bad. So we again put the energy into ourselves. Or again, through the fact of unconditional love, of forgiveness, they change us. So one last message. Healing message. Look at this. Green, green, green. That's always the heart chakra. Transformation. I am constantly evolving. I improve inwardly by working on my weaknesses and refining my strengths. Life ensures me I'm presented with situations that will help me learn and grow. I am aware of my process and open my wings to the light. And so that's exactly what this did. If you transformation, transforming your wounds into gifts by you putting the energy into yourself. Again, you realize that you're whole. You also realize that that unconditional love can't be broken. And even though your person tried to manipulate it, tried to walk away from it, tried to, again, you guys both tried to do everything to destroy this relationship, that it can't. But you can transform those wounds into what the relationship's supposed to be, which is unconditional love. I'm going to leave it there, Virgo. You let me know whether you resonated with this. If you did, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, and again, write the word love in your comment bar if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me. Those 3 things will automatically get you into enter. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.